Hey guys, right, today I was hoping to show off my Duel Jaeger deck. Now, as you see, the flag is a secret, and I've had 2 packs of these in my past. Um, yeah, the booster box you get this flag, by chance, is the Raw Invincible Dragon booster box. Now, it's a very good box to get. It's a key essential for upgrading your Ancient World decks and other worlds in a way. Sun Dragons, Darkness Dragons, and some katana as well. So, anyway, let's get started with the deck. So today, start with size zeros. Free copy of Help Us Say. Now, Help Us Say is one of those types of cards which are amazing because when a soul is put from a size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor on your field into your drop zone, you may put this card from your field into that monster's soul. Now that is like, basically it's a counter soul. Basically, if you lose a soul, you get one back. But if you have multiple on the field, you can gain more. But it's really good. Now, next size zero I have is Apprentice Underling Rookie Ichi. Now, you're wondering why I put this one in, because it's basically just a vanilla, a non-coster, which I'd like to use as basically support for the size 3, because some of them you're not allowed to have on the size 3s on the field. So yeah, he's just there to like support and deal off the strong weaklings who are in this type of world, to like destroy them. So now, 3 of him. Now this is my custom deck, so I don't mind. Any feedback is helpful. And so, yeah, 3 of him. Next to size 1s. Falling apart. We got one Underling Bad Guy Moto. Now this card's pretty good. Act. If you have a size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor on your field in battle, you may discard this card from your hand and pay 1 life. If you do, draw a card, and for this battle, one of your monsters gets 5,000 power and 5,000 defense. Lifelink 1. Now lifelink is where if it's destroyed and leaves the field, you get dealt 1 damage. 1 of him, because I can only get 1 of him from the box. Underling Kicker Shun. If you have the original size 3, which is got to be like a proper size 3, like a Duel Jaeger card, size 3 originally, you on your field, reduce this card's size by 1. Now this is like technically a size 0, but I prefer to put it as a size 1 for now. Now, in his ability, when this card attacks, if you have a size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor on your field, deal 1 damage to your opponent. Basically, side damage in a way. So basically, you just side damage. Basically, you just want like that extra damage dealt if you can't get through. Well, this guy can deal the 1 damage. Now it's really good. So if I was you, I'd protect him if you have the chance. But if you can't, it's up to you. Moved on to the next size 1. 3 of him as well. So, next one is Underling Tricky Baku. If you have an original size 3, same as him, reduce this card by size by 1. When this card attacks, if a size 3 on your field, Dragon Chief Emperor on your field, you may put a card from your opponent's gauge into his drop zone. Now, this is a really good card against gauge build-up worlds like Magic World, other worlds, maybe even like Ancient World itself, because they do try and build up gauge by certain spells. 4 of him, because I think this card is really essential in taking down your opponent's gauge, so they can't use counter spells. But yeah, 4 of him. Size 2s, and I think I like this one. These size 2s are my favourites. Ice Dragon Emperor Glakes. Now Glakes is a really good size 2 as a guarantee you should have in your deck, because it's not about the critical or defense or attack. You shouldn't really use this as an item, like a person to fight with, as more really as a spell. Anyway. Counteract. Freezing Shot. During an attack on your opponent's turn, if you have a size 3 monster on your field, you may discard this card from hand and pay 1 life. If you do, nullify the attack. Lifelink 1. Now, the lifelink does not work unless it leaves the field. You're discarding it from hand. So, you still get the 1 damage in a way, but it's really good to like use this guy. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 of him. Must have in a deck. If you use an Ancient World decks, no matter what type it is, if it's a Duel Seeger, Duel Jaeger, Raging Spirits, have this guy in your deck. Next is a Chief of Iron Tetsu. Chief of Steel Iron Tetsu. Counteract during an attack on your opponent's turn. If you have a size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor on your field, you may discard this card from hand and pay 1 gauge. If you do, nullify the attack and you gain 1 life basically. So basically he counters and you gain a life. 3 of him, because I think, why not? But 3 is I can only afford get really, so, or afford in a way. My deck combination. Next is, this card really gets me in stitches sometimes the way I look at it. So, Chief of Healing, Healing Rin. If you have a size 3 Dragon Chief on your field, you may discard this card. From hand. If you do, put the top card of your deck into your gauge and you gain 1 life. Then you may put up to the top card of your deck into the soul of a monster on your field. Lifelink 1. So, and the other guy had lifelink 2. I intend to if you didn't see that. Sorry. Yeah, this guy is really good because you gain a gauge, you gain a life, and that monster gains a soul. So I only have 3, just as Iron Tetsu. So, must have. Now, this guy is really good. Chief of Armors Under the Ken. Counteract, put this card from your hand into the soul of a monster of a size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor on your field. Lifelink 1. Now, this is really good. It's like Help Us Say in a way, but you don't have to, you can put this anytime you want. But I only have up to 2 of these because I kind of, customised my own deck. And most of these cards are from the trial deck, as you know. This guy is, Gleekeys is, so just get the Ancient World trial deck. Buy booster boxes which for this Bat World, like Raw Invisible Dragon, and you can upgrade the deck yourself, like I did with these cards. Not bad. 2 I only have, but I only use these for emergencies. Size 3, sorry, sorry. Forgive me. Now, your main size 3, which is from the trial deck, is Iron Fist Chief Strongo. Now, Strongo's like a common card, but he's really good in a way to start off. Pay 1 gauge, put the top card of your deck into discard soul, and he has Soul Guard. Now, Soul Guard, if it's destroyed, put a soul for the drop zone. He's pretty good stats in a way. It's like your go-to thing to summon, not like as in, some of the cards in this deck work by summoning other dragons from the drop zone. So 4 of him must have in the deck, because he's like your basic Dragon Chief Emperor on the field to get started off. Next one, I've only got to 1 of this guy because I only could find 1. Tradition Chief Oriental Joe. Pay 2 gauge, put the top 2 cards from your hand into this card's soul. When this card is attacked for this turn, nullify the attacking card's penetrate. So it's a nullify penetrate. Put it once. When this card is destroyed, put the top card of your deck into your gauge. Double attack, Soul Guard, Lifelink 2. And I like the foil. I like the artwork for this guy because he looks amazing. If you don't understand my type. And sorry, I'm not going through the stats of these guys, but I'm starting off fresh, and I'd like if you want to pause it. You can see the stats right there. And yeah, 1 of them pretty good. Build your gauge up. Next one is a Total Devastator. Devastate Chief Broken Guy. Pay 3 gauge, put up to 3 Dragon Chief Emperor from your drops into this card, so that's where Strongo will come in for that, to put in the soul. Put a soul from this card into the drops, and if you destroy ties 2 or less monster on your opponent's field, you may use this ability once per turn. Double attack, Soul Guard, Lifelink 2. Now, I only have up to 1 of these guys, because this is a bit too scary in a way, because I don't have too many of this guy in the deck, because I really wouldn't be able to use him a lot. Plus, could be worth having a 6 soul, but I prefer to use a Jaeger instead of this guy, but I only have up to 1 of them as a backup. 1 of them. Now we're on to the Jaeger cards. I prefer to call this a Jaeger deck because the most cards you can ever find are Jaegers, basically. 4 copies of the trial deck version. Colossal Ocean Chief Duel Jaeger. Size 3. Pay 2 gauge. Put up to one Dragon Chief Emperor from your drops in this card. So now, if it says put up to 1, you don't have to put up to 1. Or if it says put up to so many, you can put as many as you want in. So say it's up to 3, you can put 2 in if you don't have 3. Penetrate. Now, this card destroys your monster at the opponent's center, deal damage to them, and it's pretty good because it's a basic size 3 with good penetrate, good attack, good critical, and basically the main bloody monster I use, which I suggest you should, but up to your choice. Your deck, your choice. Next one. It's Great Ocean Hiking Duel Jaeger. Pay 3 gauge, put this card on top of a size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor without soul, and put 3 Dragon Chief Emperor from your drop zone into this card. So at the beginning of your attack phase, you may cut up to one size 1 or less Dragon Chief Emperor from your drop zone onto an open area by paying its core cost. Penetrate, Soul Guard, Lifelink 4. Now that's a bit of a hefty cost, but in a way it's quite good, because it calls up your underlings and your rookies, basically. It helps the underlings get out in the field if they've been destroyed. So, good card. Only up to 2. It's a rare as well. Next card now. These next 2 cards will be secret. So, first shot is Martial Arts Chief Duel Jaeger. Now, pay 2 gauge, put up to 2 cards from your drop zone into this card's soul. Counteract during this turn, this card's battle, you may discard a Dragon Chief Emperor from your hand. If you do, for this turn, this card gets 10,000 defense plus Soul Guard. So, when I first saw this card, it was pretty amazing that he could defend it this well, because 5,000 defense and 10,000 power is pretty good. Shame it hasn't got penetrate, but anyway. Yeah, this card's pretty good, and it can only be found in the secret pack, which I have 2. Which is quite lucky for me, because I like the secret pack a lot. 2 of him. The next card you get in this is Stout Wrist Unmatched Chief Duel Jaeger Revolted. Pay 3 gauge, put this card on top of a monster without soul with Duel Jaeger in its card name, and put 8 Dragon Chief Emperor from your drop zone into this card's soul. Now that's a hefty cost, but I say you use him as a game finisher. Don't put him out early, because, as I say, I'll tell you the rest of the ability now. If this card is on your center, you cannot be dealt damage by card effects from your opponent's cards. So basically, like Penetrate, I would say Penetrate, yeah, I think Penetrate is one. Or those effects where monster says if you discard attack, deal 1, when this card attacks, deal 1 damage to the opponent or such and such an opponent, you can't be affected by them. Double attack, Soul Guard, lifelink lose. Or loss, sorry. Basically, if this card is destroyed, you automatically lose the game no matter what health you're at. So, game finisher, I'd say. You use this guy for a game finisher. Yep. 2 of him. Lucky to get 2 of them. And then this one is a promo card, which I got in the booster box. Super Clash Duel Jaeger. Pay 3 gauge, put up to 2 Dragon Chief Emperor from your drop zone into this card's soul. Counteract, you may put a soul from this card into your drop zone. If you do, for this turn, this card gets 10,000 power. Yeah, that's 10,000 power. And critical +1. It has Penetrate and Soul Guard. So that's a pretty good card. It's a promo, so it's hard to get unless you have unless you get a couple of booster boxes. But if I had more, I'd add him, or I'd make him the Buddy Monster, but go with the Gold Classic. So this card is really good in a way, so I only have up to 1. Put these back here. Now we have like spells. Spells next. We have the Dragon. Wait, here we go. Dragon Wall of Distant Sea. Melee cast this card during an attack on your opponent's turn. Pay 1 gauge. Nullify the attack. This card cannot be nullified. So if you cast this, your opponent can't cast a nullified spell to nullify this card. So it's really handy to have a full 4 of this in a deck. It's a must-have, no matter what. Even if the trial deck, get the card. All these cards, most of you've seen, are from Raw Invincible Dragon booster set, which is really handy because these cards really do boost up a deck. Strength of 1,000 dragons. Choose a Dragon Chief Emperor monster in battle, and for this battle, give it 3,000 power plus defense, 3,000 power plus, and counter attack. If it's still on the field after an attack, destroy a monster with power less than or equal than to its defense. Full 4. This is from the trial deck, and it's really good because it's like a more counter spell to save it. 4 of them. Now this card is really good. Ocean Emperor style Whirlpool Seal. Cast cost, pay 1 gauge, pay 1 life. Counter, tap a monster on your opponent's field. Now this is good for double attack monsters. So basically, if you come up against another Jaeger deck or a Thunder Empire deck, which they're lately getting good double attacks lately, play this and tap a monster on your opponent's field. Now I've got full 4, but people say it's not really worth having this. I say it is, because as soon as they can't tap, as soon as they attack one, as soon as you just enter the field or whenever, tap that monster, pay that life, pay that gauge. It's worth having, trust me. I've used a couple of these in my times, and it saved me a lot in battles. Full 4 of them. One of my favourite cards up next is Dragon Dreams. You gain 3 life. So basically, I've got full 4 of these, so I can just easily either use one at a time, or if I like to go super aggressive, I just use all of them at once. If I get enough in hand, I use all of them at once. No matter if I get that damage, that means I last longer and deal, so I can have more defensive. So this is like a main this is a go-to card in the trial deck. I think you get 2 or 4. Can't remember. I think it's 2. By a couple. This card next. 3 of these because this card is called Rise and Fall of Dragons. Now, pay 2 life. Put the top 4 cards of your deck into your gauge. You may only cast Rise and Fall of Dragons once per turn. Now, 2 life. That's why you get this card, because you gain 3 life. If you have, say you're on 10 life, you don't want to pay that much, use this. You're on 11, no 13, then you use this. 4 gauge up front, and then you've got 11 life to save yourself, and you've got 3 of these. I don't like to use them all at once, but I use these as a last gauge build up, so I'm near death, I can't cast without the gauge. Use this, gain 4 gauge, and then basically try and last out 3 of these. That is also in the trial deck. That was another card I like using. Dragon Emperor Legend. Now, put the top card of your deck into your gauge. You gain 1 life and draw 1 card. You may only cast Dragon Emperor Legend once per turn. Now this is basically a life gauge and draw. So basically, it's quite good because you could always use that extra gauge and extra draw just to get a good card. 3 of these. I wish I had 4. I can only get 3. It's really handy in the trial deck as well. That's from the trial deck as well. Next card up is from the trial deck. It's Dragon Within the Ocean. Pay 1 gauge, pay 1 life. Search your deck up to 1 size 3 Dragon Chief Emperor monster. Put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. You only cast this once per turn. Now, what I like to do is basically use this. Let me just find it. Find it. Either look for 2 certain cards, because I like using these. So if I use this, I either look for this card or get this card out of the way, because we've only got 2 of these cards and you want to get either one or the other out on the field. Now, best thing to do is use this card to get them out and get it. That's why I have other different size 3s and my main buddies. So use them to hold them off. Use this. As soon as you get one of these, use it, because then you can search for these 2 cards if you have them, or any other card you want. That is a size 3. Put it into your hand, shuffle your deck, and then your opponent won't know what you've got. So then, that's as a combo. It's like a little way of getting it out of the way before you shuffle it into your drop zone, or it's put into your gauge and you don't know. Do you get what I mean? It's a really good card, but it's really, really careful. So you got to plan this out carefully. Really, really carefully. Next up is Dragon. There you are. Put it in the camera first. Dragon from the Ocean or Origin. Basically, you only cast this if you have 4 life or less, and you have a size 3 on the field, gain 4 life. Basically, if you're down low and you have a size 3 on your field, use this card. But that's why I have Dragon Dreams, because this is instant. But this is like a backup in case I haven't got Dragon Dreams and this works. I gain 4 life, basically. So it's really good. Dragon and Strong. Choose a size 3 Dragon Chief on your field. For this turn, the next time it would be destroyed, you gain 1 life, and that card remains on the field. Now, 2 of these cards, because sometimes your opponent, if it would be destroyed, basically, it's you gotta time this card correctly. I'm terrible at timing sometimes, so I only use 2 of these. I have to counter spells and the Jaeger effect, so 2 of these for me. I only use 2. Then these next 2 cards are from the secret pack as well. Same as the flag, so that's all 5 cards. Next is Legend of the Colossal Ocean. You only cast this card if you have a monster with Duel Jaeger in its card name on your field. It can go for any Duel Jaeger type card. Choose and use one of the following two. Put a card from your drop zone into the soul of a monster on your field. Put a soul from a card on your field into your drop zone. Now, I don't know how this would work, but I say use the first ability just to gain more soul for your creature. Two of these, and there's a secret rare. Next, this card is probably one of the best cards in the deck, spell-wise. Ocean Chief Spirit. Counter, stand a monster with Duel Jaeger in its card name on your field. Now, I've got two of these from the secret pack, so which I got. This is a really good card. So say like you used your final Jaeger, and your opponent was on, say, 6 life. So you went 1, 2, then you use this. Then the 6th time they block it, but then the 4th time you hit them, and then you didn't have no spells left, and that's like a finishing blow basically. So 2 of these because it's really handy. I wish I had more, but like I said, you can only find these in the secret packs, and they're hard to find. I've barely got 2 myself. So there we go. Items. Start with this card. Ocean's Emperor's Anchor, Wild Waves. Now forgive me if I'm saying these names wrong, but I have got a bit of dyslexia. So, yeah. Equip cost. Pay 1 gauge and put the top card of your deck into your drop zone. This card can attack even if there's a monster on your center. That's really handy, but really I wouldn't use this for attacking, more like the ability it has, like I'll show you. You may play 1 gauge and pay 1 life. If you do, put this card from your field into the soul of a Dragon Chief Emperor monster on your field. If this card is in the soul of a Dragon Chief Emperor monster on your field, that monster gets Penetrate. But like I said, this Duel Jaeger card, you could use this one and give it Penetrate, because that's like really handy. But then if you lose this card from the soul, it is no more Penetrate. But use it wisely. I've only got one because it's from the booster box. One of them. Next item is Ocean Boy's Anchor Ripple. Pay 1 gauge, pay 1 life. This card can attack even if there's a monster on your center. Right. I know what you're thinking. Why would I have full 4 of these instead of not full 4 of them now? This card is that card I showed you just then was a double rare. This is a trial deck card. So I like using this because all the week, if you have like another face off with another Duel Jaeger deck, they have like the underlings, don't they? And the underlings, like I showed you, some of them are really good if you have a size 3 in the field. Like I'd use this to take some of them out, basically, just in case. And then I use my other younglings, if I can, to take out them. Size 3 comes in and then just wipes them out. Full 4 of them, must have in the deck. Impacts. Now this impact's pretty good, but you can only use it once it shows you. Big Catch Kaigan. Ocean Cleaving Twin Dragon Wave. You may cast this card if your opponent has 3 life or less and you have a size 3 monster on your center. Pay 2 gauge, deal 3 damage to your opponent. So that's like a really good either finishing blow. If your Jaegers all attacks were failed, even the spells, well, use this card. Full 3. I use 3. Not 4, because I think 4 is a bit too much, because 3, I'd like to finish them off with a Jaeger, because the Jaegers are cool to finish off opponents. Right, that's my deck, Duel Jaeger deck, and I hope you enjoy. I'll take any feedback necessary, even if it's good or bad. I will reflect on it, and then I will improve this deck one day, and then I'll do an updated deck. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.